Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to balance equations. So first of all, why do we have equations? What happens? Well, in a chemical reaction, they rearrange atoms, just like we did with those chips. They combine in new ways. We have to have the same number of atoms that we had before. They just like to combine, to break apart, to come together, to switch partners. You have to have at least one new substance, many times more than one are formed. And you should know the reactants, the things that react, are on the left side, and the products, the things that you produce, are on the right side. So again, the number of atoms must be equal on each side so that mass and matter are conserved. So the number of atoms must be the same, and the mass must be the same. Okay, so when we look at this, we need to make sure we're counting correctly. So there's some numbers that are important on here, and the first one would be these big numbers in front. And these are called the coefficients. The coefficients are the numbers that you're going to put in, and you can change them if the first one you put in doesn't work right. They apply to the entire compound here. So this 5 distributes to everything here in the compound. The smaller numbers here, what I'm going to circle here in red, these are all subscripts. And the subscripts apply to the thing right before it. Now, if the thing right before it, like over here, is parentheses, this 3 multiplies to both the O and the S, but not the AL. So if I asked you to total up the number of each of these atoms here for AL, there are 2 in a set, and there's 5 sets, so we end up with 10 aluminums. For sulfur, there's no number here, which we know just means 1, but there's 3 groupings of SO4. So remember, SO4 is a polyatomic, just like we had the cards, and the whole entire card look like this. So this just means there's 3 sets of that, but each S is on each card here. So that would be 3, but again, we're going to multiply, and again, multiply, not add, times the 5, so there'd be 15. For O, we've got a lot more numbers to work with on here. So we've got 4 here. We've got 3 sets of those, so each of these cards having 4 O's means there's 12, but once again we have 5 sets here, so we actually have 60 oxygen. So here are some things to help remember. So again, on counting atoms, we're going to multiply the coefficient by the subscript. The coefficient's a large number, the coefficient, is a large number, the subscript is a small number. And again, subscripts outside the parentheses apply to everything in parentheses. So just like we said before, with the SO4, same thing. Let's say it's NH4 and it's 2 of them, then that would be 2 N's and 8 H's. Okay, so a lot of people have different techniques for this. Here's a good way to kind of break it down and see what you want to do here. If you can just look at it and get it and put the numbers in, it works out right, great, do that, that's fine. But sometimes you're going to list what's called an atom inventory, and an atom inventory is just going to be a list of the elements that are in there, and then they might even be polyatomics. So for example, if my reaction had Fe, Cl, and Br in it, I would just make a list of those 3 elements there, and then I would count how many are on each side. I'll show you how to do this on the next slide. So first list the elements, then count them. That would be step 2. And then we're going to change the coefficients. We're going to add those big numbers in the front. Oxygen and hydrogen are always the hardest to balance, so let's save those for last on there. Every once in a while with a metal and an oxygen, it might be a little easier to start there, but in general, a lot of times they're in 2 spots and they're a little harder, and if you fix your metals and non-metals that aren't those 2 elements, usually that's going to work better. Once you get those other ones set, come back and do an O and H, and a lot of times they just fall right into place when we do it this way. Okay, so we're going to do some practice problems, so just follow along with me and just try and see what I'm doing. And again, our goal is to get the same number of atoms on each side. Okay, so we've got a pretty simple one to start on here. So you might be able to figure out on here, okay, I see 1 Na and 2 Cls. I'm going to need a 2 here to get 2 chlorines, and then put a 2 here. If you can do it that way, great, do it that way. If not, I'm going to show you how to break it down. And so let's start this over. So we're going to make what's called an atom inventory. So I'm going to list my elements here. I've got sodium and I've got chlorine. And I'm going to count on the left and the right. And I know in a balanced equation they have to be balanced. So I have 1 Na and I have 2 Cls. On the right side I have 1 Na and 1 Cl. Now you have to be careful. A lot of times people want to read that as Ci2. If it's a C and then a stick, it's chlorine almost always, and especially if it's a 2 there, it'd have to have 4. We know from our shape unit that carbon likes to make 4 bonds if it was with iodine here. Okay, so sodiums are great. They're 1 and 1, but chlorine we have a problem with. So chlorine has 2 on the left, but it only has 1 on the right. So we have to figure out how many sets. So just like we did with the chips, if I needed to on here, if I was drawing this like I did the other day, this would be 2 chlorine, and this would be chlorine with sodium. I'm just going to make sodium blue here. Okay, so if this was my case, remember how we added a second set? So we needed another blue with another green here. And then sodium would just have 1 here. So when we get to this point, we would know that we need a second set. So that's when I would put a 2 here. And then I'm going to switch this to 2, and this would also be 2. So now my chlorines are good, but that just changed my sodium. So see how I have 2 blue over here on the right? Well, I need to add another sodium and not touching the other one here. So that means now I have 2 so that they'll be equal. And I see what I have here. I have 2 separate sodiums. I have 1 set of Cl2, and I have 2 sets of NaCl. So if you were asked what's the ratio of the coefficients, you'd say 2 to 1 to 2. Now again, we don't like to write ones in there. No textbook's ever going to have it. That blank's there just so it's not obvious that that one's not going to need a coefficient on there. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit harder. So now we actually only have 2 elements here, but the ratio is going to be a little bit harder to balance on here. So I have Al and I have O. Now most people would probably try to put a 2 here first for 2Al, but then notice you have 2 and 3 for oxygen. So we're going to do something called the least common multiple. So anytime you have 2 and 3, you need the smallest number that's divisible by both of those, and that's 6. So think about if I count 2, 4, 6. If I count by 3, it's 3, 6. The first place the overlap is 6, so 6 is divisible by both 2 and 3. Okay, so when I do that, I would need to put a 3 here and a 2 here. But notice that Al here now has 4. So this is going to have to be 4. Okay, so that's just looking at it. If you want to do it with your atom inventory here, let's do it the same way. Now here is one case where it might be a little easier to start with Al, and if you want to do that, that's fine. When a metal is with oxygen, with diatomic oxygen, and then in a compound, a lot of times it is going to be 2 and 3, but I'll just stick with the traditional way. So 2 Als here, but only 1 here, so 2. Then 2 and 3, so that's my least common multiple, and I need to make the 6. So to make the 6, I need 3 sets of 2 oxygen. Okay, so remember for oxygen, oxygen comes in pairs. So if I need to get these equal, then over here, this has 3 O's in here along with 2 Als. I'm just going to use green for Al. And then over here, we said we had Al and we needed 2 to equal those out. Okay, so then that is, we'd have to have 6 here, and then there's 3 in this set, so I'm just going to draw this one again. So I'm going to do a set like I had. I'm going to do my best to make these touch right in here. Okay, and notice when I did that, I now need 4 here, so I'm going to add 2 more. Okay, so when I had to do that then, I'm going to have to switch it on here as well. So this has to be 4 as well. So when I made that 6, that was a 2. That gave me 4. And then I'm just going to cross it out or erase it, and I'm going to make it a 4. Okay, so I need 4 separate aluminums. I need 3 sets of O2. And I make 2 sets of Al2O3. Okay, so here's another trick. When you have something that has a polyatomic in it, basically when you see parentheses, think of that, even though it doesn't have parentheses, as being a polyatomic, and your life will be a lot easier if you balance PO4 together. So 3 calciums, 2 phosphates, 1 potassium, 1 chlorine, 3 potassiums, 1 phosphate, 1 calcium, and 2 chlorines. Doesn't matter when you start. There is O here, but it's part of a polyatomic, so you don't have to do that. So most people just start at the top. So I have 3 calciums on the left, so I'm going to put a 3 here. Don't forget that 3 goes to both Ca and Cl, so now I have 6 Cls. So I'm going to put a 6 here and get 6, and then that gives me 6 Cls. On the right side, now I have 6 Ks, so I've got 3 in a set here, so I'm going to need 2 sets. And the good thing is a lot of times your last one will get fixed already, so that 2 actually gave me phosphates, okay? So nothing on the first one, 6, 2, and 3. I'm not going to draw this one because it's a lot to draw on here. I won't ask you to draw the huge ones, but if we did, we would just need to make 1 set of calcium with the 2 phosphates, 6 sets of KCl, 2 sets of K3PO4, and 3 sets of CaCl2. Okay, so that leads us to some helpful hints on here. Water can sometimes be really harder to balance. A lot of times it's H on one side and OH as opposed to, and then it says water on the other. So if you break water down instead and make it a H and OH and try to balance the H's and OH's, a lot of times that works really well. Combustion is a little harder to balance. Remember, those are the hydrocarbons with oxygen, making carbon dioxide and water. So CHO is the way to go. So carbon is going to be the subscript of carbon on most ones that are normal to CH compounds. Hydrogen, since you're making water, will be half as much, and then O, you're going to have to add them together. If there's an even number of carbons, it's going to be a little harder, and I'm going to show you this doubling trick that you can do on here. Okay, so now I have 4, I have 10, and I have 2. If you write CHO, it's always 1, 2, 3 in a combustion. So go like usual, fix your carbon, put a 4 here. I'm not going to bother to fix the oxygen now because in just a second that water is going to change. So hydrogen, since this is 10, but this is H2O, is going to need 5 sets. Okay, so add up your oxygen. You've got 4 sets with 2 in a set, so that's 8, and 5 more, you need 13. Well, 2 times what will give you 13? Well, it's going to be 6.5 or 13 over 2. You ever seen an equation like that with decimals? Me neither. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is double everything. So just like in math, if you need to get rid of a half, you got to multiply everything by 2. So this really is a 1, but that's going to double and be a 2. This is going to be 13, 8, and 10. So your answer here is 2, 13, 8, and 10. Some people don't even bother to figure out, well, what's half of 13? They just go ahead and put in 13 and double everything else. That works well, too. Okay, so again, just takes a lot of practice on here. Follow the hints I told you on that. If you want to reassess this, on here the date is Thursday, or if you're absent, we'll get you in and do that.